you'd been doing yoga for how many years at that point?
Before Gavin. So, I mean, I did yoga while I was pregnant
with Gavin.
So I did when I was pregnant with him. So, I mean, I had been doing it for a little while. I was newer before I got pregnant, but I had been, I had been doing yoga for over a year before I got pregnant with him. Like when I say doing yoga for a year, I meant I started weekly. Then I went to every few days, and I literally would wake up every day before going to work, and I did yoga every single day. It became my life. And honestly, and I don't talk about this much because I know people like, oh, it's woo. But when I started doing yoga, I started eating better. I started taking care of myself better. And I did notice like my cycles were irregular, and I was told, so the year before I had Gavin, I was told I'd never have any babies. I had no period. I had a bunch of crazy stuff happening. I had cancer scares, a bunch of crazy stuff happened. And so I was like, my body's falling apart. And one of my friends who was a yogi, and you know her, Elise, but she kept saying, do yoga. I'm telling you, it will change your life. And I was like, no, she's crazy. And then I ended up doing yoga. I started getting into yoga because she was like, come with me to classes. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go. And she's really good. And I'll be like falling over. So I started doing yoga, but it felt good. It felt right. And so the more that I did it, my cycles went perfectly to 28 days. And I mean, I literally just, my overall health completely changed. And the next thing you know, I got pregnant. So I'm not of whatever, but it changed my life. Like I can just say that. So you knew
how to basically do the basic meditation. You knew that.
Yes.
Yeah. It was not something.
And that was helpful because when we went, remember, and Adam does yoga too. Adam knows yoga and meditation too. And so when we went, we kind of thought it was kind of funny because we're like, okay, you could get like on your phone, you can have apps and stuff, and apps weren't as big back then, but you can still do it. You could still find online sources to do guided meditation if you were struggling with just regular meditation, like sitting still for a while. So we were kind of like, I could click into the zone really fast. Like if somebody and Adam could tell you when they got started, close your eyes, I could literally just go right into that zone because I've been doing this for over a year. Like it was like 2 years at this point. I'm like, I knew exactly what I was doing, but it was like, so to me, it wasn't a big deal, but somebody that's newer and doesn't know anything about it, I don't know how much they're getting out of it or, what they're getting out of it, I guess you could say.
And now if anybody's watching, think that she is reckless for doing yoga or anything and think that we're dangerous stuff. She wasn't doing like the cobra. She was doing like sitting down, cross-legged and stretching. And that's what you do when you're pregnant. You can do those and stretch works. And so if anybody thinks that it's a crazy acrobatic move, she wasn't doing this. And so,
no, and thank you for bringing that up because that's true. Because when I told people that I was doing yoga, it freaked people out. And there is a difference between regular yoga and there is a difference between prenatal yoga. And the minute that you find out, even right at the beginning, when you don't even have a bump, they tell you immediately you have to change your practice because any twist or anything like that, you can have a miscarriage. They're very particular about what you do because that's very sacred. That's a very, very important thing to them. So I did prenatal yoga and I was very particular about what I could do and what I couldn't do. And just like Adam said, I followed some really good like guru yoga people that are for pregnancy. That's what they did. And so, and by the way, anyways, when you start getting bigger, you can't do all that crap anyways. Even if you wanted to, you can't do that. First off, you might fall over because you're not like, it's better to be seated. Most of the stuff you do is seated. You can't you can stand and do a couple things, but you ain't jumping out doing like, let me do some warrior. Nobody's doing warrior when you're pregnant. Like you maybe until about midway, but by the time at the end, you're wobbling around, can't even get your shoes on. Like you're not doing all that stuff anymore.
Floor, you're stuck on the floor. That's literally what.
And that is the truth. At the end, I couldn't do yoga without having like Adam around or Michael around. Like somebody had to be around because I would get stuck on the floor. That's true. And I did yoga all the time.
I did a pregnancy yoga.
Right? Like
I did it, but I don't even remember it. But no, I took a prenatal yoga class through at a hospital nearby where I lived. I don't even really remember it, except it was fun. And I just thought,
That's
If I get a
smart that
little
they did in the
stretchy,
hospital. Anybody falls
it'll be
over.
good. Mhm. Yeah, I didn't think it was
Perfect
gonna really
place.
do anything for me except, maybe overall health and able to be more, I don't know, more, I don't know, vigorous, endurance, maybe more for the pushing part. Turned out, yeah, man, first time took a long time to push, but so, I don't know.
And you know what? I'm glad you said that too, because another thing that they'll tell you, and even the midwives will tell you this, is that, like, a lot of people will be like, just do your squats. Okay, I did yoga well before I had Gavin. I got pregnant with him. I could sit and squat in yogi position. If you know what that is, you're literally squatting like this is your legs, and you're sitting like this with your you're like this. I could sit like that even while I was super pregnant. Now, as I got super pregnant, I had to sit near a couch or a chair or something heavy enough that I could like crawl back up, because once I got down into this position, I was stuck in this position. And that's the truth. So that doesn't mean anything, because they were like, yeah, by the way, he dropped early. I thought I was going to have him in January. All this stuff happening here, my hips moved, everything. I still did not have a vaginal birth. It's a load of crap. You just don't know. Like, yes, everything may move exactly how it's supposed to go, but it's still not a guarantee. It's not 100% that this is what's going to happen to you. So, I mean, and that's one thing that I had questioned. I was like, maybe I didn't do, like, when you go through your stuff afterwards, you go through this weird thing of like, maybe I didn't do that enough, because when I got to the end, I started getting really tired. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to sit on the floor anymore. I don't want to do that. So that's kind of one of the things is they do that. But I can tell you what the benefits of prenatal yoga is. It's actually, you have so much going on in your body. It's good to kind of like, it's good for relaxation. You're not getting all the benefits of what you would before, because you're not getting the twist. Twisting is good for so many things, and even constipation and different issues that you're having. So you're not getting that. But what it mostly is, it's for like calm, it's for balance. It's still getting your mommy arms going because you're about to have a baby, so you're still kind of working your arms. But I mean, for the most part, it's just like, it's keeping you kind of like active. But I mean, you could go walk around your block and that's still good and healthy for you too, so it's kind of all the same thing. I think anything you can do during pregnancy, like that's in the right thing that you can do, because some things you don't do it in pregnancy. It's not worth that, but even Angela, what was it last weekend? You were just talking about people that run marathons probably won't even have a regular birth. They're going to need assistance during. So it just shows if you're more athletic, you might not have the body to have a vaginal birth.
Apparently people who have like awesome core strength also tend to have a tighter pelvis, because they work everything. They work all of those muscles, and it's like, yeah, your joints might relax, but the muscles that are in place are not relaxing anymore. If you're some kind of phenomenally elite athlete, it actually seems to impair their ability to have a vaginal birth. It's like, wow.
That's really interesting, because I belly danced for a long time. And a lot of the people that I danced with were like, oh, it just works everything. And you'll just be able to have such an easy birth if you belly dance. And that's not true, because I know plenty of belly dancers who had to have C-sections. That's how their body is. And dancing isn't going to change that need.
Well, it goes back to the saying that I have, though, your body malfunctions. No matter who you are, no matter where you go, if you can deal with, I think what needs to be taught more is, not everything's for everyone. The yoga is not for everybody. The meditation is not for everybody, but it's the idea of we can do it because many people have done it. But I think once you realize the truth of your body is not going to be the same as it was today, then you're going to be in a better place. Yes, it's great if you can belly dance, and it could have good factors to it at that time. But can someone honestly say to you that like when you're in your 80s or 90s, you're going to be belly dancing and it's going to be amazing still? No, no one can tell you anything. All you can say is that your body is getting older and your body is going in the natural pattern that it needs to go into. And that's it. That's all. It can be beneficial, but again, you get older. So I think that's where that whole mentality comes in, is that life's just malfunctioning at all times. So just get with it or die. So that's it. That goes to, yeah, everything that everyone said. I'm like, marathon, yoga, anything. A birth, that's the same thing with friends that they say, oh, well, you're very healthy. You're going to have a heart surgery. Don't worry, it's going to be fine. You don't know what it's going to be like for them. You don't know how it's going to go during the surgery. Same thing with birthing. Who knows? Your baby may want to surprise you and may want to do some acrobatic stuff before it's born. And it's just, if you can accept that, then maybe you'll be better off knowing that some things happen.
Yeah, I think we've said so many times here, keep your expectations low.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned other countries, and I think that's a really good thing to bring up because they did a study about hypnobirthing in Britain, and it was actually a study funded by their health, the national health there. And what it found was, this was in 2013, and it was 680 people tried hypnobirthing, and the best they could come up with is inconclusive. So they've actually tried to prove the science behind it in those other countries where midwives are the main caregivers for pregnant people unless there's a problem, and they couldn't even prove it, and they wanted to. So that's huge that they couldn't show.
Yeah,
that
when you research anything about hypnobirthing, most of the time, like everything I was finding, even this report was like, it could work, it could not. Like, there's not anything to, and that's great. And that's another point. Like, everyone's argument is, when you're in an argument, you always want to bring up things that someone else won't understand. So you bring up other countries because you're not from Germany. You don't know how Germany works, or you're not from Australia. Like, so when you're midwives' argument, or hypnobirthers that love the hypnobirthing class and everything, their argument is this: in another country it works. Okay, well, you're not in another country, so you'd have to be like, hold on, let me look this up, and let me look up Australia, and you're not going to do that. You're just going to go, oh, okay, fascinating. Like, and it's an argument that has been done to death. But if you look it up, and I'm glad that the other countries did it too, you can't, because everyone's different. And some people, just like the yoga thing for Karen and the yoga thing for Danielle, it worked for Danielle, it didn't work for Karen. And that's okay. It clearly, like, you both were pregnant, and you will find the things that work. And hypnobirthing, there you go.
What works is being in the hospital and knowing that your baby is safe, and then having the nurse check you, and the nurse, helping you push and saying things like, okay, it's like a little wedge of grapefruit. Let's do a little more. Oh, it's a bigger wedge of grapefruit. It's a bigger wedge of grapefruit. And then finally, I don't know. I was actually begging for the vacuum, and they were saying, oh yeah, we got a Hoover right here. Because I thought I just couldn't push one more time. And ironically, my second one, that was where there was meconium, and I was post dates, and I don't know, because I didn't have a mirror, I don't know what they were seeing, and they were like, okay, you should push now. And I was like, oh, can I just rest here? And they're like, no, push. And they were yelling at me, and it was like really one push, and he had to be resuscitated. So, I mean, it was just the two totally different things, but that's what works, being there and having the trained OB and nurse right there at your, vagina, watching everything that you maybe don't even want to watch because they ask me, you want a mirror? No, I don't want a mirror. Just, I don't want to see that little, I think they did bring one. I looked, I'm like, don't forget it. Just try to concentrate.
You're already going through the labor pains. Why do you have to look at that? Like,
I don't want to know the details. Just give me the kid once he's cleaned up. I don't know. But I think part of that goes back to wanting control over something so unpredictable. Because you can't really control a lot. So if you can breathe your baby out, you're still controlling your breathing, right? So you can have control. It's impossible. There's no control. It's like having a 2-year-old and it's just your body. I've tried that. Didn't work.
well, I mean, I have yet to meet one mother that's had multiple kids than just one, and them tell me all the births was the same thing. They all came out the same way. Everything. No mother that's had multiple kids can tell you that their birthing was the same every experience. No, it's not, because it's not. It will never be the same. Your body is preparing itself for the next one, and it will have to function the way it can to make sure that you can get the baby out. And whether you have to get it out vaginally or if you have to get it out with a C-section, that's just your body. But I've yet to meet a woman tell me that she has like 5 children and all 5 of them came out the same way, because it's not a thing. It's not realistic. Let's all be realistic with our lives.
And we know, since we're from a family of 5. And you can ask my mom, and all of us were different. Some were later, some were sooner, some were fast, some were hours and days, and and the last one was a C-section. So I mean, every single one of us was a different thing. She will tell you, though, probably Jay was the only one, but she didn't get an epidural for all of us except for whatever they did for the C-section. Because back then, when they were having kids, it was like epidurals are scary. So she'll tell you, like, I didn't get pain relief kind of thing. And then that's changed as time has gone on, and she knows a lot more about stuff from ours. Oh no, get an epidural. Like she's all like, she'll tell anybody, like at the supermarket, probably, oh, get an epidural. Don't even wait. Just get an epidural. There's no point to go through days and hours of pain when it's not affecting you. It's not affecting the baby, but you can be feeling good having your baby. So she'll tell you, like, she's like, no, just get an epidural. And she's had 5 of us. So, I mean,